want to make an impact in you, so you know what to do. Come on and make that pledge and listen. Living on the edge. Living on the edge. Living on the edge.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Badass Podcast, Living on the Edge. I'm your host, the original Chronic Badass, and today we are with Zaynab Jogi, also known as Zee, a 2 times Guinness Book of Record holder, speaker and founder of the Zee Defense Academy. Zee, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
It's fantastic to have you here and everything, and obviously we have spoke about what we're going to talk about today. A little bit different to the show. We usually talk about conditions and how people go on from there, but what we talk about a little bit different is a bit about race, gender, spirituality, and how that can impact and how you can still move forward from those things. So what we want to talk about first is a little bit about you. You know, what is the Defense Academy?
Yeah, so we initially started a couple of years ago, and it evolved from just doing some voluntary work for a local gym. And then we wanted to set up something for like the women in the community. So we decided, I decided to excel my skills, to learn a little bit more about self-defense and martial arts. And we set up like a little community project. And that's how it all started. So it was just a conversation in a coffee shop.
So what is it that the Defence Academy does?
So we started initially offering sort of martial arts and self-defense sessions, and we've evolved massively, especially during COVID. We did a lot of questionnaires to understand what the community wanted. So now we're providing a holistic approach for individuals to improve their health, well-being, mentally, physically. So we do things like outdoor activities, walking, hiking, we've got educational sessions, we do workshops, self-defense sessions, physical activities. So we're providing a little bit of everything just to improve your well-being.
But yeah, so are you a qualified martial artist?
Yes, definitely. So I've got 4 different disciplines: self-defense instructor, Muay Thai kickboxing, boxing, and also a civilian Krav Maga instructor, and I'm recently just been qualified as a wrestling instructor as well.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow.
That's something new, and hopefully that will be showcased the next couple of months.
No, that's amazing. So what we wanted to do is maybe, obviously that is amazing off that, but and there's no getting around the elephant in the room. You are a Muslim woman, which in a lot of people would think that would be difficult in what you're actually doing. Some people and everything. So maybe if we go back to the beginning of how that actually managed to get started and any sort of issues that you had because of those particular reasons. Yeah. And if there have been any issues.
Oh, there's been many. Life's full of difficulties, but it's how you overcome them, which is the important part. So yeah, I started at the age of 15. I think for me, when I was young, I was just like, a bit hormonal, slight anger issues, and just being the teenagers, just wanted to sort of focus on something positive. I remember my friend telling me to come to this Thai boxing gym, and I was like, ooh, what is that? And I remember turning up and seeing like punch bags and all this sort of stuff. And that's where my journey started. And I developed my sort of sporting career, and within Muay Thai kickboxing for about 12 years, volunteered and really supported, women get fit and healthy and strong. But before I knew it, it became like an addiction and like a really big passion. But then it became part of my life, and I couldn't live without it. It was like something that it's like a magnet that just kept drawing me to it. Yeah. I think for me, it was more the discipline, and it gave me the strength to be able to just release all the negative energy as well.
Yeah. Did you have any negatives from going to the gym, being a woman in the gym? I'm not saying, off that, but
yeah, I mean, as you know, with mixed martial arts, it's a very male-dominated sport. 80-90% is male, so there was a lot of stigma around it, and I sort of became part of the furniture, and it was just like, oh, she's just here, and people did used to look at me different. When I used to spar with some of the men, they did used to go heavy, right. As example, even though you're not meant to, but they did, just to show that they are more, feel more powerful compared to a woman. But what I believe is technique, and that's how I used to get them back.
So what other issues did you have regarding doing the stuff you were doing?
I think it's more the culture side as well, because women don't participate in a lot of sport. And I mean, currently in the last sort of 5 years, things have evolved, things have changed, but we're talking 15 years ago when I was a teenager. Life was very different then. There was a lot of racism in general, and a lot of like culture aspects, people used to pick up on things. So I had it all. And for me, I think that, the discipline of the sport made me strong. And that's the reason why I'm still sort of within that sport. But if I was a weak person, I think I would have just given up when people said things to me, especially like sort of cultural, strong leaders within the community. So I've had to face a lot of stigma and negativity around, oh, well, you're a woman, you're meant to be at home, you shouldn't be doing this. And it's like, well, I need to stay strong, I need to stay fit, I need to do this for my own health, for my future.
Have you found any sort of blocks with the Zee Defence Academy from the male side of your religion?
Oh, guaranteed. Oh, guaranteed, yeah. I mean, I've been into conversations with people who have said, why are you empowering women? And I'm like, why not? And these are the conversations I'm having on a regular basis. And I think when I first initially started, it was quite scary. And I remember like really being upset and really tearful when I used to come home and speak to my mom. And it was like, why are people not being happy for us, because we're doing something great for the community? But it's my mom who's my role model, and she supported me and has always said to me, do the right thing. Don't listen to the negativity, but just do what's right. And we're not doing anything wrong. We're just providing loads of different activities for women.
Yeah. Do you think that's a cultural thing that could potentially be changed over the years, or is it getting any better?
It was definitely getting better. I think the difference is religion and culture. Yes. And in our religion, it does state that you can participate in female-only activities, but it's the culture which is, people's perceptions of it, and that's where it differentiates. But things are changing, things are evolving, and I think being in the community and being a role model, showcasing sort of, the work that we do has proven to people that it is good for you, and you need to be getting out and sort of participate in some sort of activity.
So you talked about like having a lot of aggression, anger, and that's how you use the Muay Thai and everything. If you looked at if that wasn't there, where do you think your life would have been, without having that sort of exercise? Where do you
to
think
be honest, I can't even imagine. No. I think I'd be in trouble somewhere, definitely.
Billboard somewhere up, yeah.
Definitely, because I have always been a bit of a rebel, so I don't think I'd be on this earth, to be honest. Yeah.
No, that's unfortunate. But so talk a little bit. You've done other martial arts as well.
Yes. So
am I right in saying you're the only Lancashire-based Muslim kickboxer instructor? Is that correct?
Yeah, so in the specific terms, it's so-called civilian Krav Maga instructor. I'm the only one in the Northwest. So I did my training and it was brutal. Yes. So it was like 4 days worth of 8 hours of training to be able to become qualified, but I did have 5 to 6 years of sort of self-defense training prior to going on the course. So that is definitely something very unique, being an Asian, being a Muslim, and trying to break those cultural stigmas around women participating in martial arts as well.
Is there a difference between a male like myself doing the martial arts? I had a martial art comp fu when I was younger before for the FIBO stuff and everything else. But as a Muslim woman, is there a big difference in how you approach it?
Yeah, I mean, I think when it's naturally always geared around males and it's very dominant sport, and I think being a female, it's not a feminine sort of sport. I think this is why it's quite unique. And I think with me, with my sort of journey, and my mother, again, she's been so supportive in allowing me to do this for so long and never questioned why I was doing it, because she could see the progression of, and my mental health getting better. So that's one of the reasons why she said carry on, and she's pushed me to where I am now. Now the aim is, through the charity, is to get more women involved and get more women, fingers crossed, to even get more instructors within this area and lead the way, because, we need more of these strong women to come forward and become, sure that to the other genders as well, that we can do it.
This might show my age a little bit, but back in the 80s I used to watch a lot of martial art films.
Yes.
And one of my favourite martial artists was Cynthia Rothrock, who is a female martial artist, and she's amazing. So seeing women martial artists is just fantastic. So I've never really seen an issue too much with that, and you are correct, it is about technique. So if you were you talked about like the martial arts stuff and everything, and we mentioned at the beginning the bit at the beginning about you having a Guinness Book of Records. Yes. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that, and any of the struggles that you had?
Oh, yes, yeah. So I think, as everybody, during COVID, my mental health was severely affected. I think sort of 8 months in lockdown, it was like, just went through like a mental breakdown. And I remember speaking to my mom, and she was like, what is wrong? And I just couldn't figure out what it was. And she just said to me, she's like, it's because you've not been to the gym. And I was like, Oh my God, because 15 years I've been in training and not being able to access like a gym, you know, like a boxing gloves or some bags or a pad was quite difficult. So I started researching and finding out other challenges that I could do. And I just came across the World Highest OCR. So that's the World Highest Obstacle Course Racing. And I was like, oh. So I had the meeting with the organisers, Rob and Dave, and I thought, oh, well, it was just mountaineering. So I do like climbing, and I have climbed all the sort of, you know, big mountains in the UK.
Yeah.
But then he said it was a Guinness World Record, and that's when my ears pinged. And that's when I was like, right, I want to be involved. So yeah, the journey was very, very difficult because these were all for professional athletes. So I had to train 3 months, not just your normal endurance, strength and cardio base. It was more of the altitude training. Now, with it being lockdown and COVID, things were so difficult. So I had to get the oxygen sort of machine from the altitude centre in London and use that, you know, to get used to the altitude. So 3 months I trained, 2 hours a day for 6 days a week, very, very intense. Became an athlete and then went and did the challenge.
And so what did you actually achieve? What was the actual record?
So it was climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, which is the freestanding mountain in the world. Got to the summit and then went into the crater of this mountain, did the world highest fitness class and the world highest obstacle course. So they had set up the day before 10 different obstacles, things like balancing beam, sandbag carry, like a high wall, and you had to do a minimum 5 to get the Guinness World Record.
Is there video evidence of this? That
Oh,
we can,
yes.
So if you maybe send us the link and we can post the link so anybody can watch that.
Yes, of course. It's
that'd
on
be brilliant.
YouTube,
Oh,
yes.
fantastic. Yeah, great. We'll do that. So what's the other one? What was the other one?
So the world highest fitness class was one of them,
Yep.
and then the world highest obstacle course was a second. So that was 2.
You've just recently tried a third one? Is that correct?
Was attempting to, yes, but unfortunately we didn't have enough funds to raise for. So it was a similar challenge, but on Everest Base Camp. But unfortunately, we couldn't have it. I didn't raise enough, so I just went and did the base camp trek itself.
But there's a possibility that you could maybe do that again once. You know,
Oh,
in the
yes.
thing, and if people wanted to sponsor you, they could.
Yeah,
sponsor you, sorry.
definitely. So what the plan is as an organisation, I shouldn't be saying this, but anyway.
Nobody's listening. It's all right. You know?
So as an organisation, they want to go to the 7 summits of the world and have obstacle courses on the 7 summits. So they've done 3. So they've done Kilimanjaro, they've done the Everest Base Camp, and they're going on to the next one. I think it's Vincent, and then they're going to keep going basically to all 7. And that will then, so each one is a Guinness World, and then if you do all 7, then that's also a Guinness World Record.
So if you were to do all 7, you'd have all 7.
Yeah,
obviously,
that's
I mean,
correct.
Is that the way you're looking at doing it? Is that something?
To
you'd
be
like
honest,
achieve?
yeah, I mean, it was very, very tough. Yeah, there's a lot of training and there's a lot of costing with the kit and everything as well. So if financially you could afford, then definitely would be something like a dream come true, really.
Oh, that's great. And as we talked a little bit about some of the issues that you've had, what's been the biggest issue that you've actually had to face with B&Z Academy and maybe yourself in these things you've achieved?
I think it's being a woman participating in sport in general, whether it's a hike or whether it's walking, because what a lot of people, I mean, you know, religion is very important, and I do follow religion very, very closely. But one of the things that people need to realise is that there's differences. So as an example, when you do have a male figure in your family, whether it's a dad, an uncle, a father, a brother, they tend to take control of situations like looking after your vehicle or taking you away abroad. But when you don't have that male figure, that's somebody like myself, then you feel like you're suppressed by leaders, and they tell you can't do things. But why should that be? If I don't have any male figure in my life, that doesn't mean I should stop doing what I'm doing. And that's one of the reasons why you know, the charity came along, but also me doing these massive challenges is to showcase to people that even though you have your religion on one side, that you can still go out and participate in extreme sports and general, just, you know, get active. You necessarily don't have to be controlled or suppressed by men in any means.
So you've worked with a number of different women
Yes.
And everything that have also had the same sort of issues. You have. How's it been with them? Have you seen a change in the way that they've been from how they were when they started to how they are now? And
Oh, definitely. Oh my God, it's been the journey when people come to us, and the journey from where they were just after one activity, the smiles on the faces, the feedback that we get, it's amazing. And that journey just proves that what we're doing, it works. But we need to do it more consistently and for longer term, hopefully.
you say something about, obviously we've talked outside, so when I say this, I'm like, I don't remember that in the clip, about a wheelchair martial artist?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
tell us about her.
So I got approached on Facebook by a lady called Farah, and she's in a wheelchair and she does martial arts, and she's actually, hopefully looking at, becoming an instructor of some sort. So I went to meet her, went for some dinner, and she was lovely. And again, she was able, but then she became obviously, disabled in a wheelchair. And she's now also trying to sort of break those cultural stigmas where, you can be with a physical disability and be able to participate in sport.
Wow.
If it's a passion and it's something that you enjoy, then you can. So that is another project that hopefully we'll be releasing now, is to provide physical sports for people with either mental or physical disabilities.
Wow, no, that's amazing. I'd love to meet her at some point. That'd be amazing. So we've talked a little bit about the past and things like that and everything. Where are you at the moment? What's going on right now?
So at the moment we are, we're quite successful. We are, sort of looking at different funding parts. We are delivering loads of different activities. We've got different, like from youth activities to adults to the elderly. So we're really progressing in delivering a variety of different services. For
Any
us,
examples?
yes, so we have a Let's Learn project. So that's an educational workshops for health, fitness, well-being, trying to build more confidence, etc. We've also got a Youth Can, which is our youth project. So that's between 10 and 20 years old. So and that is hopefully going to be led by the youth volunteers, and that's more physical, indoor, outdoor, and well-being. So mentoring, coaching within that as well. Our self-defense is our baby, and that's the key to who we are. And we've also, with our self-defense courses, had been approached by UCLan University, and we've just recently done some research around it as well on how it helps. So we've got some evidence base around that as well. We've also done an NHS co-production, which you were also involved in.
In the life, yeah.
And that project as well is for people within 40 and 60 years old going through menopause and trying to help them through that. We've got a bit of Sport England funding just to help people through physical activity. So we are massively growing, and we want to educate and help. So engage, educate and empower women, and try to get them out of their comfort zones.
Wow. So if somebody wanted to get it, is this all around the Blackburn area? This is
No, we're actually northwest, so we are
Northwest,
travelling quite far out now, because we've sort of done over 50 to 60 projects in Blackburn, so we are still delivering stuff there, but we want to sort of reach other communities and other vulnerable areas and those deprived areas that need our support and help, so we are sort of expanding now.
So if somebody was watching this video and they said, I'd love to reach out and see what's going on, where are you going to be over these next couple of weeks, months and things like that?
We're everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. We've got any events coming up is what I mean. Yeah.
So we've got a couple of different events. We are looking in the next couple of months to do a conference around health and well-being, and provide sort of taster sessions with the different martial arts that we do, but also in general, health and well-being. So that's something that we are looking into. But I mean, we are on all the social media and our website, where you can sort of view all our achievements, all the projects that we've done, and then signing up process as well.
Yeah. And if you want to sponsor,
of course, yes.
Always looking for sponsors.
Yes, definitely.
Everything. So, obviously we've talked a lot of different things and everything. So, if you had any tips for anybody who's going through similar things that you've been through yourself, what would you say to that young 15-year-old? That's, what do I do? Don't
be scared and just take that step. If I didn't go to that Thai boxing gym when I was younger, I wouldn't be where I am today. And listen to people and get the support that you need. A lot of people are suffering at the moment, but one thing they're scared of is talking. And I believe that when you talk to each other, or anybody, that could be your neighbour, and if you are feeling a bit embarrassed and you don't want to speak to your family, there's many organisations like ourselves out there that can help. So always respect yourself and look after yourself, and just talk to people, get out, get into the nature, go for a walk, do something, whether it's reading a book or journaling or, going for a walk, do something for 5 minutes a day. That's all we ask. But then keep building it up in time, and then you will soon start seeing that passion and that drive, and that will become your thing.
Oh, that's brilliant. I really appreciate that. And I really want to thank, Zee for being here. Zee Defence Academy, links will be in the description. Absolutely brilliant charity. Definitely need to be involved, sponsorship and everything else. Definitely be over that. And that's what I want to talk about is all about different types of things that we're going to be talking about over this show over the next couple of months, hopefully longer. And we're going to talk about like different elements. We talked about race, we're going to talk about gender, we're going to talk about health, we're going to talk about different things that you can still achieve. You can still do amazing things. It doesn't matter where you start from, it matters where you end. And that's what's the most important thing to look at. So what I want to say to you is thank you for being here. And again, Z, absolutely amazing. Always,
Thank you.
Brilliant. I really appreciate everybody for being here today. And so like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. And remember, you can be sick, but still have a badass sick life. Thank you very much.
I want to make an impact in you, so you know what to do. Come on and make that pledge and listen. Living on the edge. Living on the edge. Living on the edge.